PlayStation 5 is now officially out, and with it, a fantastic, albeit small, library of games. With the next generation of consoles kicking off, I thought it was time to take a look at its contents. This list was compiled after plenty of time, energy, and thought, and represents what I believe to be the very best that the PS5 has to offer. So, without further ado, here are my picks for the 25 best PS5 games. FIFA 21 is the newest version of EA's long-running sports franchise, but it's at its best on PS5. With enhanced features and updated visuals, soccer never looked this gosh darn beautiful. The highlights of this next-gen version include the new components with the DualSense, increasing trigger resistance as your player loses stamina, and using haptic feedback to simulate ball contact and other field events. There are also a host of graphical improvements as well, making hair more natural and the scene overall more crisp. Enjoy some pretty good-looking players, folks. Godfall is an interesting mix of God of War and Diablo. Its combat is sensational, it features an engrossing and new world to explore, and there's a lot of room for customization. It may not offer a whole lot of new concepts on the table, but the core gameplay is so nailed down that it's just plain fun. It also helps that the game is gorgeous. This is definitely one of the games that people will want to show off when letting friends see their shiny new console, and likely why it was the first actual game to be announced for the system. It also feels like a beginning to players. There's a vast amount of friendliness to new players that compels you to trek on in its world and see what it's all about. Godfall is definitely a game meant for console launch, and I mean that in a good way. NBA 2K21 might just be the best looking PS5 game on the market right now. At a glance, you might mistake a game to be one playing on ESPN versus your gaming console. The amount of work that went into both the character models and the animations are clearly shown off here, as we have the most technically advanced basketball game ever made. The next-gen version also offers similar features as FIFA, such as trigger tension connected to player stamina. You've also got plenty of modes to choose from, for example a new career mode, My Team, as well as the WNBA. There might be pesky microtransactions, but this is simply the best looking game of ball you could ever play on a console. There are plenty of people out there who buy consoles for Call of Duty. Well, suffice to say, they shouldn't be disappointed in this year's iteration, and the PS5 version might just be the best place to play. For starters, every single gun in the game feels different. I'm not talking about recoil or sound, although that is true as well. I'm talking about the trigger tension and haptic feedback in the DualSense, in which each weapon has been meticulously designed to trigger, pun intended, a different effect. While you might want to turn this off in competitive multiplayer, this is a really cool feature to use in the campaign, which does a lot of really cool new things. Also, Zombies is back, and fans of past maps will most likely be satisfied by this outing's offerings. Black Ops Cold War feels like the next generation of COD, and it's exciting to witness. The Dirt franchise has honestly changed a lot over the years, and its fifth and main installment is a testament to that. It's much more arcadey than its predecessors, and I think that's a good thing. Its main career mode hosts a variety of different events across different environments and terrains, almost all of which look absolutely stunning. The PS5 specifically utilizes haptic feedback to bring about a different feel for each environment, and it's almost always noticeable. They also have Troy Baker and Nolan North doing voice work, so that's an automatic purchase for me, what can I say? The track editor has a lot of depth as well, and provides a really awesome hub of content for you to sink your teeth into long after you finish the campaign. Between making your own custom courses and playing others' online, there's a whole lot of fun to be had in this racer. Puyo Tetris merged two of the most popular puzzle games in the world back in 2017, and now it's back for more. This sequel comes with a ton of modes, including an adventure mode with some wacky dialogue and a wealth of content. There's also plenty of other ways to play, just Puyo, just Tetris, playing with friends either locally or online. If you're looking for a good scratch on the puzzle game side of your gamer portfolio, look no further. Fans of the Worms series have come to expect a certain high degree of zaniness from the franchise. Rumble does not disappoint. All the wackiness and fun of the previous games is back, but now with an emphasis on competitive multiplayer. There's a variety of weapons at your disposal, from sentry turrets to sheep launchers. Much like previous installments, Worms Rumble keeps up the laughs and the fun. Much like Journey, Haven is a game about exploration and discovery with a companion. Unlike Journey, this game features combat and a less minimalistic story. Featuring UNK, Haven tells a beautiful story about forbidden lovers in a very realistic way. This isn't some classic love story written in a book of fairy tales. This couple faces many of the same issues that real-life relationships face, albeit during an intergalactic adventure. The story is well written, and the characters are definitely lovable. Also included are anti-gravity boots, which let you traverse the world with the grace and flow of an ice skater, and it really helps to provide a soothing tone to the game. Haven is an oftentimes relaxing story-driven game that is well worth your time. If you've played Overcooked, you already know it's one of the best modern co-op games out there. With all you can eat, it's all in one convenient, delicious package. Sony really killed it at launch, delivering a wealth of family-friendly games accessible to younger audiences, and this collection is no different. It includes both the first and second installments, as well as all their DLC, including the recently released Swedish chef playable character from the Muppets, which is awesome. There are also 2 new exclusive modes, Arcade and Assist. In Arcade, it randomizes which map you play and how you play, which sometimes pits co-op players against each other in versus. Then, Assist mode is for the more casual gamers in your life. It increases the amount of time available to complete a level, meaning more accessibility for all, which we absolutely love to see. Remastered in 4K and including cross-platform play, this complete edition of the Overcooked franchise is one tasty treat. Back in the day, Roller Coaster Tycoon reigned supreme. Now, we have Planet Coaster, and for a PC game, the PS5 sure does it justice. For those new to the genre, it's extremely accessible to build your own roller coaster wonderland, but there's plenty of depth to be found for even the most hardcore of adrenaline architects. The game controls splendidly with the DualSense, and the fun art design of the game keeps it from being bogged down by technical mumbo-jumbo. Whether you're an avid roller coaster builder, or someone new looking for thrills, you'll be right at home here. If rally racing is more your speed, WRC 9 is a great racer that shows off what the PS5 can do. Running at a smooth 4K 60 FPS, this game also utilizes haptic feedback, letting you experience the most immersive WRC game yet. However, this racer is not for the faint of heart. Unlike Dirt 5, WRC 9 features a much more realistic take on the genre, meaning you have to be much more careful about your turns and overtakes. However, the higher the risk, the higher the reward. Phoenix Rising is a love letter to cartoon-style open-world RPGs. It's abundantly clear that Ubisoft Quebec wanted to make this game. The amount of effort and care that went into the lore and the world and just everything, it really makes its case. The combat is fast and fluid, the story is well done, bonus points for Greek mythology, and there's plenty of content to sink your teeth into. Taking inspiration from games like, yes, Breath of the Wild and Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Phoenix Rising takes the best of its siblings and merges them into one big adventure worth playing. It's time to talk about Bug Snacks. This game is just pure joy. It's if Pokemon Snap let you jump off the rail and do whatever you want. All of the Bug Snacks are deliciously adorable, and it's an absolute delight to figure out how to catch them. But the real gem of this game is the story. There's an insane amount of depth to each and every Grumpus on Snacktooth Island that draws you in from the very start. These people suffer from anxiety, depression, self-doubt, and a lot of other real-life issues. Honestly, playing this game made me think about the way I was handling my own life, and for a bug-catching game, that's quite the feat. Don't get the wrong idea though, this game definitely has plenty of lighthearted moments to keep a grin on your face, and I imagine that will be your main reaction throughout the entirety of your playthrough. I played the original version of Observer back in 2017, and it was a phenomenally freaky cyberpunk adventure. So, while CD Projekt gets their act together, play System Redux. Made by the talented folks over at Bloober Team, Observer is an intriguing psychological horror about a detective in the highly digitized future. I would describe it as a mix of Cyberpunk, Outlast, and Sherlock Holmes. With the new updates, it now runs with ray tracing, which makes the game absolutely gorgeous, and for some reason is not in the Xbox Series X version. There are also new side quests to enjoy and a host of graphical fine-tuning, as well as support for the DualSense so you can get those spooky vibrations. If you're looking for one of the most stunning and visceral experiences on the PS5, look no further. For fans of Breath of the Wild, the Pathless represents a journey, one that takes you across a mysterious island taken over by an evil entity hell-bent on world conformity. The movement throughout the game is the most fluid I have perhaps ever felt in a game, and just overall the gameplay is sublime. The puzzles work your mind but aren't too strenuous, and the boss fights are some of the most intuitive game encounters I've experienced in quite a long time. Nintendo fans are really being treated well on the PS5. There's plenty of other games on this list that scratch some other Nintendo-esque itch, but if you're looking for a Zelda-like, look no further than this. For a system built off the foundations of JRPGs, the newest generation of PlayStation has a lack of this at its launch. But fear not, Atelier Nord is to the rescue. This sequel features a huge world to explore as well as an interactive real-time tactics battle system. There's also a synthesis system returning from the previous entry, and while it may be complex, the rewards are well worth the time spent delving into its contents. Then of course, like almost any JRPG, there's an extremely engrossing narrative that spans dozens of hours to provide a fun experience that's sure to satisfy fans of all kinds. Marvel's Spider-Man was one of the PS4's best games. While Miles Morales might be smaller in size, it manages to improve on the original in almost every single way. The story is contained in a way that transcends the first game. While it may only last 3 hours, it makes the pacing much like a Spider-Man film, and it is a perfect length for the side story in the Spideyverse. But for those looking for more content, there's plenty. For completionists, there's easily dozens of hours of gameplay throughout its numerous side content, including Spider-Cat, the best part of the game. It's got a lot of heart and a lot of fun, and is 100% worth your money. IO Interactive continues to improve on the stealth genre with Hitman III, the conclusion of the World of Assassination trilogy. With the sheer amount of NPCs in the game, it's a challenge on the CPU to run this well, but the PS5 runs at a buttery smooth 60 FPS, providing the best Hitman experience ever made. With tons of intricate and oftentimes wacky ways to take down your targets, Agent 47 is going out in style. NetherRealm Studios continues to improve on the fighting genre with every new game, and Mortal Kombat 11 is no exception. With Ultimate, you get the best possible package of one of the best fighting games ever made. You get 2 full campaigns, a ton of DLC characters, and all of the fun enhancements included on PS5, such as a buttery smooth 4K 60 FPS and DualSense support. There's also co-op as always, so you can beat up your friends in a much more legal environment. Cyber Shadow is pretty obviously Ninja Gaiden if you look at it. But wait! It's not just a clone. There's a ton of really cool elements to this 8-bit indie game published by the same people who made Shovel Knight, like a blade that literally swings according to your momentum. It's dope as hell, along with so much of this game. The soundtrack is full of absolute bangers, it's an absolute delight to play, and for fans of old school Metroidvanias, you should definitely pick this one up. Valhalla is a ginormous game. There's no beating around the bush with that. If you're looking for the best value on PS5, it's definitely Assassin's Creed Valhalla. It's an absolutely gorgeous game, even though it doesn't have RTX, which is very sad, and it has well over 100 hours of content to devour. Plus, Ubisoft is just leaning into mythology at this point, so while you wait for God of War Ragnarok, you can just play this instead. The story is well made, the gameplay is solid and silky smooth, especially in performance mode, and it's just an all-around amazing package. Overcooked is great, but if you're looking for the best co-op experience on PS5, look no further than Sackboy. I would go so far as to say don't play this game alone. Grab a friend or 3, and laugh your butts off as you play Super Mario 3D World, but on PlayStation. The music is excellent, the gameplay rivals Super Mario Odyssey, and there's a huge amount of replayability and fun. I haven't spent a second of this game without a smile on my face, and I promise you will be the same. Souls games are a tricky genre to sell for newcomers. They are insanely difficult games, and they're not for the faint of heart. But for every death, it only makes that eventual victory that much sweeter. Demon's Souls is a shining example of this. First off, Bluepoint Games are masters of their craft. Shadow of the Colossus was a brilliant remake, and they've done it again here. If they haven't earned a reputation by now, I don't know what to tell you. Personally, what I think they nailed the most was the fluidity. On performance mode, it runs so smoothly, which is imperative for a Souls game. And even on fidelity, it's still a locked 30 FPS. Beyond this, the amount of detail in the world is jaw-droppingly beautiful. Every single aspect of the game is scrutinized to the smallest degree, and as a result, every texture is simply next-gen. There's no other way to describe it. This is the game to show off to your family. The enemy designs are brilliant, the minimalist storytelling is wonderful as always, and it's truly an amazing tale. Devil May Cry 5 is the best hack-and-slash game ever made. Period. If you haven't played it, buy this game. If you have, get it on PS5. There's a ton of new content, including Virgil as a playable character, turbo mode, and a new ultra-hard difficulty. But it also has a bunch of accessibility options, like 4 graphics modes. There's Ray Tracing Fidelity, which has 4K at 30 FPS, there's Ray Tracing Performance with 1080p at 60 FPS, and then there's Performance mode with 4K at 60 FPS, as well as 120 FPS mode. There's a ton of love being put into this game and this franchise in general, and I cannot wait for more. The beauty about Astros Playroom is that there's absolutely no commitment whatsoever. It comes pre-installed on the system, absolutely free, and it takes a little over an hour to get through. But what makes it so special is everything that it encapsulates. Not only the DualSense and the PS5, but the entire history of the PlayStation, all in one complete masterpiece of a package. Following Astrobot Rescue Mission, Playroom has shown that Sony needs to give Japan Studio a full Astro game. They've now made 2 incredible 3D platformers for incredibly niche systems. Now they just need to make a full Astrobot game that wins Game of the Year, because it deserves it. The gameplay is excellent, the music is superb, and the way in which Playroom shows off the DualSense in unique and fun ways makes the PS5 feel like a brand new start for video games. There's so many cool things in this tiny little package, but I don't want to talk about them. I want you to experience them for yourself. Astros Playroom is the best game for the PS5, so go play it and enjoy your new system.